Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast. I'm your host, Wesley, and of course I'm joined by my lovely co-host,
Mary.
And also,
Rebekah.
Wow.
It's me.
Whoa.
What?
Just went into like Mario mode there for a second. I don't know what that was.
It's a me, a Rebekah.
It's a me.
All right,
Yeah.
well, all three of us are here, and we've already heard Rebekah's opinions and my opinions. So, Mary, what was your opinion on yesterday's episode?
It felt a little bit just like predictable. Even with Q finding the idol, I'm just like, he's not going to play it. Like they're having all this buildup of a Charlie blindside, which to me means, okay, Charlie's not going home. So the only other option is, once again, it's like the curse of the 46 idol. Like if you find an idol, you're going to get voted out because you're not going to play it. And I don't know. So it felt a little predictable to me, but it was still enjoyable. I'm really hoping that Charlie can make his move against Maria soon. So the build up for that was nice. But yeah, I mean, overall it was a good episode, just slightly predictable in my opinion. And also frustrating because once again, we have an idol found and not played.
So tonight's the big one. We are going to rank, this is the last winner analysis of the season. We're going to rank the remaining 5 players. We're going to rank all the new era seasons. I don't know what anyone's actual rankings are, so I'm going to find out just right alongside everyone else. Usually I know ahead of time, but this time I have no idea. And we're also going to talk about secret scenes, though Mary indicated to me before we start recording that they're not important, Mary.
Not much. I mean, the very first one was Q talking about how he was okay not getting Chinese because it wasn't Applebee's. And he talked for a long time about what he was going to get at Applebee's with his loving bride, Emily. And then the other one was, this is the first time I've ever seen this happen, so maybe it's noteworthy, but basically it was most of the same scenes that we saw in the show proper of Liz and her poop celebration, basically, with an added like 30 seconds of content. And it's all just excited that Liz finally pooped. So
They've done that before. Okay. Extended scenes where it's just like some new content added on.
That was it. There you go.
All right. Well, we don't have to worry about that. It sounds unimportant. Unless Liz wins, then I guess the extra poop content was important. We are going to go alphabetically through every player. The chart in the top right-hand corner you see on YouTube shows every player, and if they're already voted off, where they finished, how many confessionals they got in each episode, and what their total confessional count is. And of course, we'll do our, as we do every week, does this person have more or less confessionals than Banu? Because believe it or not, I'm sure somebody is still below Banu.
There
going
are
into the finale.
still people below Banu. Yes.
That is ridiculous. All right. So, Mary, who's our first person?
First, we have Ben. He has 3 votes against him. No idols, thankfully, or else he'd be out of the game. He had 4 confessionals this week, and he has a total of 34 confessionals, which is still 1 less than Banu.
Well, that is, Rebekah, please help me.
Yeah. With what?
Why does he have less confessionals than Banu, who went out in episode 4?
You know, that's a great question, and I don't know if I can help you with that, because I don't know. That is so funny. Like, I don't know. Ben seems like, I think we've talked about this a bit, but he's so likable, and I feel like we get a lot of like camp content from him, where he's like interacting with people and like the life of the party. He's the vibe guy. But yeah, we haven't really gotten a lot of like strategy from him for the most part. So I guess that's probably why. But yeah, that is crazy. I don't know. It's hard to wrap my mind around.
Craziest part to me is that Ben's in the final 3. That was spoiled in last night's Next Time on Survivor. So we already know he's in the final 3, and he still is getting treated like this. It's not even like he goes out first in the finale. They're like, he wasn't real. No, he's in the final 3, and he's getting less content than Banu.
Well, we did talk about a little bit last night during the episode that we wondered if maybe because he's having all these like problems sleeping and all these issues, if he's just kind of like a zombie, you know, like maybe he's just not talking a lot and giving much content because he's struggling so badly. I mean, because that was mainly all his content this week was, you know, he voted for Kenzie because he couldn't think straight, which is pretty bad. He felt like he was losing his mind. We had another like little panic attack episode with him and Kenzie. And that was pretty much it. I mean, we have Charlie mentioning that, yeah, Ben's on our side. He'll vote for Q. He'll vote for Maria or whatever. That's basically all Ben's content from this episode. So yeah, I mean, and even in those shots of him walking around with Kenzie at night, like he just looked so out of it. And I just feel so bad for him. And he's still, he's still there. He's still struggling. He's still holding on. You've got to love him. But yeah, his lack of content is just the fact that he still, like you said, has only 34 confessionals. And he's in the final 3, we're pretty sure. Like, that's just crazy to me. So
it's not that he just has 34. It's that the person on episode 4 has more than him. That's the egregious part. It's not that Ben only has 34. That could be fine. If the person episode 4 didn't have more than Ben.
Sure. Well, in this new era, though, like everyone else has almost like double what he has. So yeah, that is a lot, except for Liz, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon. But yeah, just poor Ben. My heart goes out to him.
Yeah, well, I don't think Ben's winning. And if the confessional counter isn't a dead giveaway, it really is that he's at. I mean, here we are on a 26-day game. Imagine if he had to play a full 39 or, God forbid, an Australian season of 50-something days. Ben would be dead. Ben would not make it. He would be medically evacuated.
Yeah.
Rebekah, what are your thoughts on Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with, what you guys are saying. Like, yeah, I think we even saw in the challenge with the puzzle to some extent that, he had a lead and it seemed like he had the part of the puzzle figured out that he needed to just kind of run away with the challenge, but then he just like couldn't figure it out. And I think, like you said, Mary, these are all like indications of lack of sleep. And we've only seen like, 2 panic attack scenes in the show so far, but from what they were saying, it sounds like it's happening like every night, which, I mean, that would just be exhausting. Like, yeah, I can't even imagine. So yeah, I think Ben is great. I think he's, very likable. I think it's really like cool that he's persevered, like you said, just to get to the end of the game, and very impressive. But yeah, I don't think it's super likely that he's going to win at this point. So yeah, but in terms of like ranking, I do have him at number 3, and that is because he's so likable and because I feel like this cast is more salty than some of our recent casts have been.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that like honestly, yeah, even though he hasn't like done anything crazy in terms of like gameplay or anything, I think just being likable is really going to work in his favor with this cast.
Even the super nice Hunter is dunking on all the clowns who didn't play their idols. Mary, have you looked at Hunter's Instagram today? He did a story.
Really funny.
If you look at his stories, he's done it. He's updated every week for every person because he knew. So he probably had these done in advance of every person who hasn't played their idol, like all looking like a bunch of clowns, including himself. And he kept updating every week, adding whoever the new person is. So I guess technically, Rebekah said this yesterday, they could put another idol out there and technically could not be played at Final 5, but that one would legitimately shock me. Like, shock me the most to not play at Final 5. Like, what were you waiting for?
I'm honestly rooting for that to happen because of the chaos. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but also, yeah, there's no way that that's actually happening.
My favorite's when somebody says, I can't believe like this many people didn't play their idol. I'm done watching the show. Like, what?
Interesting.
This is why I watch the show.
Yeah.
People making mistakes is part of the fun. If everybody's out there just being a robot, like, what are we even doing? Like, why even cast people? Just put robots on the island playing Survivor.
Right. I mean, it's actually proof of really good gameplay to be able to make someone feel comfortable enough to not play it. I mean, except for Hunter, who was clearly not comfortable and still didn't play it. But in my mind, like everyone else who went out blindsided with an idol in their pocket, it was because everyone's really good at playing the game and making you feel comfortable. So that's good gameplay. Is it a little frustrating as a viewer? Maybe, but it's not, I don't know. Not a reason for me to stop watching, I guess.
Hunter and Venus, it seemed obvious that they should play it. Tiffany, I got to a degree. Even Q, thinking he probably thought he was a goat to be dragged. Like I get, but I didn't get Hunter and I didn't get Venus sitting on their idols. Like you knew you're at the bottom or you knew you were a target. And it's like, what are you waiting for? Like, what were you waiting for? I want to know. So, Ben, speaking of Ben for me is ranked number 3 solely because I know for a fact he's in the final 3. And that is a better chance of people who I don't know if they're in the, you know what I mean? Like if you're in the final three, you got a better chance. And my rank is based on your chance of winning and just being in the final three immediately. I guess I've put you top three. So I'm putting him at number 3, but I don't think he's winning. Like there's no combination of final 3 here that I think Ben gets a win out of.
That's why his number 4 for me. Like
There's
I
no
understand he's going to be final 3, but like as far as like chances of winning, if everyone went to tribal right now, he's number 4th.
All right, what about you, Rebekah?
Yeah, so he's number 3 for me as well. And yeah, I think kind of same. Like, so there's the obvious top 2, which I'm sure we'll get to. And then I feel like there's just like this gigantic gap between the top 2 and everyone else. So Ben is at the top of everyone else, but he's, I just don't think he realistically has a chance at winning right now.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about somebody who's an actual contender. Mary, who's next?
Next we have Charlie.
Yes, Charlie,
Let's
an actual
go.
contender.
Charlie does have 2 votes against him, but Charlie's confessionally, he has 10 this week, and he has a total of 73, which is the highest of anyone remaining.
Gosh, he's gotten 26 in 2 weeks, huh? Is that correct, Mary?
Yes.
Huh.
Crazy.
Well. Mary, what do you think about Charlie?
Obviously, Charlie has been number 2 for me for a long time. Number 1A, as I call him. I think that...
Oh, is Charlie number 2
1B.
and 1A?
1B,
Okay,
1B. Sorry, 1B. He's just so closely tied to Kenzie. I really do like that aspect of this season is that Kenzie and Charlie have been so promoted as the winner. Like usually you can kind of tell, like we've talked about this before, and I really can't tell if it's going to be Kenzie or if it's going to be Charlie. I think right now Charlie's still number 2 because he does have, he has 2 votes against him right now. He has been perceived as a threat. His name keeps coming out there. Maria tried to take him out and she failed this week, but I don't think it would take a lot for her to sway a few people to get him out. And we'll talk about that more when we get to Maria. But so his threat level is just slightly higher than Kenzie's. He's won more immunities than Kenzie, right? Or have they won the same? I think he's won more than her.
You're the one with the extensive notes, Mary. You tell me.
Yeah, I'd have to.
Mary's in charge of the winner notes this season.
Anyways, yes, I should have been keeping track of that. But
Rebekah,
he's
do you have the
definitely...
wiki?
Yes, I'm searching
We need
right
to
now.
know. We
You
can't
can
ask
keep
him this.
talking.
Who has the most immunity wins? We know Maria does, but Charlie has 2, I believe, and Kenzie has 1.
Here we go.
This is just top of my head.
Kenzie.
The silence of this podcast is what people come here for.
Yes, Charlie has 2 and Kenzie has 1 at this point.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I think Charlie obviously Charlie has a reward. So technically he's won 3 challenges, 2 of those meaning immunity.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I don't know. People just don't perceive Charlie's a threat. Like, why has nobody even brought him up to vote him off?
Well, he has been brought up. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, outside of Maria's only doing it because, I don't know, it doesn't feel like Charlie's this big threat. It kind of just feels like Maria just doesn't want to go to the end with Charlie. I don't know how else to say that.
Yeah, I feel like
it's not
he
because
was
Charlie's
brought
a general
up.
threat.
I feel like he was brought up a couple times, like either right before or after the merge, like somewhere around there. But yeah, since then, it's been pretty quiet. Like there's just always been, another threat, other people that are being talked about. Besides like Maria targeting her, the person who has the same game that she does.
Right. I just feel like he has slightly, and when I'm talking about this, is not like a major deal. Charlie's name has come up more than Kenzie's from what I remember. So there's that. He's won at least 1 more immunity plus 1 reward more than Kenzie. So like his threat level is just higher than hers, just factually. But all that being said, I think that he probably will make it to Final 4. And I just have this feeling he's going to go out at fire. And I don't know why. Like, that's just my
against
gut
Liz.
feeling.
Liz is going to knock him out in fire.
I don't know. I don't know if it'd be Liz. I don't know if it'd be Ben. I don't know if it'd be Kenzie. But that's just my feeling. And if he makes it past fire, and if he makes it past Maria and Kenzie, obviously, like, number 1, he's going to win. But I think he has a slightly harder road just because of his threat level.
Rebekah, what do you think?
Yeah, see, that's really interesting, and you bring up a lot of good points. I think that Charlie is pretty likely to be at Final Tribal. But again, kind of like I mentioned earlier, I think that this cast just being like, I don't know, maybe a little saltier than other casts, I almost don't know that they're going to respect, like, because I feel like there's sometimes where the cast is like gameplay over everything else. Like, it doesn't matter if you're likable. It doesn't matter, you know, if you stab me in the back or whatever. If it was a good move, like, that's what they respect more than anything else.
That's what High infamously said during the 42 jury.
Yes.
He was like, I don't care about anything except for how you play the game. As he sat there with a shirt that said he was a feminist on it.
Yes. Yes. Iconic.
So I don't always buy when people say they're voting only gameplay, because then Kendra in 45's like, I'm here to hear your truth. If you give me your truth, I'll vote for you. And Jake gives literally the best answers to her questions. And then she votes for Austin. So, you know, I don't always buy when they say it's gameplay or it's whatever. It's like, it's a combination of things. And really most important is, who are you friends with?
Yeah.
Who have you been friends with?
And I think also, like, and, you know, we'll talk more when we get to Kenzie, but I think that's really what it's going to come down to this season, is more of like who has the best personal connections with people and who is, you know, who's been the most likable. And I think Charlie, he doesn't have nothing in these areas, but I think it's going to be really close between him and Kenzie. Like, I think they're both going to get votes. And I think that's, you know, I'm hoping that that's kind of how it ends up, because like you're saying, you know, this whole season, they've been so close together. I mean, even like their emotional backstory that we got in this episode happened back to back. Like, they've literally just been neck to neck this whole season. And so I would love for that
happen too, finally.
Yes. And I would just love for that to continue, like, all the way to the end. And I could see that happening, where it's between the two of them. They both get votes. Maybe it's even a tie and we have to do another tiebreaker. That would be crazy. Cool. I like Charlie a lot, but yeah, I think him and Kenzie are basically tied for first.
A tiebreaker, Mary.
Like my rankings.
A tiebreaker, Mary, where Rebekah and I talked about this yesterday, where Ben has to break the tie between Charlie and Kenzie.
Yeah. That would be actually difficult for him.
That would be an incredible ending. He has to pick between his Sega teammate or the woman who's held his hand every night.
Yeah, he would go with Kenzie, but yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It
would be so poetic too, because if he's, like we were talking about last night, if he's the one person who's like voted against her and ruined her perfect game, but then he gets to, like, you know, at the end choose her as the winner, like, that'd be so crazy.
That would be epic. That would be a top 5 finish of any season.
100%.
That'd be awesome.
So I don't know if that's going to happen, but we do know Ben's final 3. We just don't know who the other 2 are in the final 3, though we assume at least one of Charlie or Kenzie are there. So Charlie for me is number 2. Rebekah, where did you have Charlie ranked?
He's also number 2 for me, although, man, he and Kenzie have been neck and neck, because technically he's been number 1 for the last couple weeks for me. But yeah, I think just with the amount of focus that he's been getting recently, that actually kind of knocked him down a little bit, like you were saying, Mary, just like his threat level, and also just like the amount of like attention he's been getting has just been a little bit more. So I don't know. He's neck and neck with Kenzie, but yeah, he dropped down to number 2 for me this week.
I said this yesterday, and I'm gonna say it again today. I feel like I have almost no emotional connection with Maria at all. So when she's sitting there crying about her kids, like, I don't really, like, okay, you know, like I've never established care about you. And Maria's attached to Charlie, and therefore I instantly do not really care about their relationship like I probably should, I believe, if Charlie was the winner. So again, here come the corrections. Here come people telling me 20 times Charlie made them laugh. But I just don't have this emotional connection to Charlie, because they're not really pushing that as hard as they're pushing his gameplay. And I feel like they're pushing the emotional connection to Kenzie a lot more than they are with Charlie. That's just a perception thing. I feel like Charlie, his gameplay, he's been so focused on gameplay, but it's like, it's going to come to the end, and I feel like it is going to be relationships. Like, the fact that we've shown the Ben and Kenzie thing twice feels significant, and we don't know why. And maybe it is. We get to Final 4, and somehow Ben wins the immunity, and he has to pick between who goes in fire, and it's between like Charlie or Kenzie, and he puts Charlie in fire, and Charlie loses to Liz, which would be amazing. Only because Liz won, not because I want Charlie to go out.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, clearly we're being set up for some sort of payoff on Ben and Kenzie, and I'm a little conflicted because we already know Ben's in the final 3 based on the next time on Survivor shots. So it can't be that Ben votes for Kenzie at the end because that he's not on the jury. So it's like, all right, what is the payoff to this? What is the payoff to this relationship? And that's what we said. Like maybe there is a tie vote, which would be insane.
Or maybe it's just showing people being kind.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe there's a tie vote and
I would love that. I would love that. I'm just like, I feel like you're hyping up the expectations and it may not be that way.
I'm just thinking here, like, I'm trying to think of last time we just had like two front runners who were neck and neck. And it like really was Ghost Island when it was a tie. Like we're just like, it could go either way. It could go either way. I cannot go through from 37 through 45 and name two people who I just thought were just neck and neck for the win. It was always a front runner. And if the front runner got eliminated, it ended up going to someone else. Like we thought Jesse was winning 43 and Jesse got eliminated right before Final Tribal, you know? And it's like, all right, well, we knew Jam Jam, you know, the whole time. And then D, like that was pretty easy to figure out, but it's like, there's always a front runner, but it's like never really two people. And like, as Rebekah said, they're really hammering home how neck and neck these two are when they're putting the backstories back to back. So there's no difference in terms of timing or anything. Kenzie got it first, I think, or Charlie got first. Who cares? Like it was neck and neck. Like it happened at the exact same time, basically. If they could have put them split screen side by side and had them talk at the same time, I bet you they would have if it wasn't confusing to us. Like that's how much the show is trying to portray. This is I really hope they're in the final three. I really hope it's them against each other. And there's been no sort of rivalry between the two. It's not even like they're BFFs. So the fact they're being portrayed this way is interesting. It's like, all right, well, it's not like Dom and Wendell, which like were they're BFFs the whole way to the end.
True.
And so it makes sense to portray this as a neck and neck battle. There's no reason to portray this neck and neck battle unless it is actually neck and neck battle at the end, in my opinion. So if there's a 5-3 vote, that would make sense. I'm not saying it has to be a tie. I'm saying it's going to be super tight, which is wild because it never felt neck and neck between D and Austin, yet that was a 5-3 vote. I don't know.
Yeah, that vote still mystifies me, but yeah.
Well, Kendra just wanted to hear their truth, okay? So when Jake gives it, she votes for Austin. Remember that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I want to feel your truth. I want to hear your truth as I vote for Austin anyways. I want to feel your truth.
Hey, listen, just because she had her vote made up doesn't mean she doesn't need to hear people's truth before she votes, the way she was already planning to.
I want to hear your truth, Rebekah. I couldn't afford tickets to the Eras tour.
It's a really good impression
just
of
because
me.
you said that, I'm voting for Mary.
Fair enough.
I felt your truth, but I didn't like it. All right, so that's Charlie. Charlie's number 2 for all of us, which can only mean one thing. Who's next, Mary?
Kenzie.
And she's all of our number 1s. There's no way.
Yeah.
But it is neck and neck, and we've kind of been talking about it. So what does Kenzie got, Mary? What did she get last night? Like, what, 20 confessionals?
No, she had 5 confessionals this week.
5?
Yes. With a total of 70. So she's a few behind Charlie, but still has been,
they've been having Charlie play catch up.
Yes, basically, in the last few weeks. So again, Kenzie's so front and center. There's nothing like, no negatives about her at all. We've got her sob story finally.
Everyone who said they wanted her out or made fun of her is gone, Rebekah and Mary. The montage people are gone. Q and Tiffany are out of there. Bonnie and Jess, gone. They said, let's vote her off. They're gone. I'm just saying, anyone who's posed a threat is not here anymore to Kenzie. Go ahead, Mary. I'm just pointing that out. You said there's nothing negative, but it's true. All the negatives have been voted off.
Well, I guess her biggest negative is that hasn't won more immunities, but I don't think that's really negative right now. That's actually good for her. She hasn't been perceived as a threat, I guess, by other people up to this point. No one's thinking about her or writing her name down yet, which can be a good thing because obviously you don't want to get voted out, but it can be a bad thing once you get to the end and people don't think you were a threat or did enough in the game. However, just because of her multitude of content that we get from her, we constantly hear from her, even if it's not in a confessional, we're hearing from her around camp, talking to everyone. We hear strategy, we hear relationship from her. We hear from Kenzie all the time. And she just seems so vital to the story. And have we mentioned the gold logo at all? That was something we recently... We
mentioned it last week, but go ahead and repeat it.
Well, I was going to say, we recently, saw that right after her shots in the intro, the logo shows up as gold, and it doesn't show up like that anywhere else on the theme song. So that's one little hint of hers. But just in general, like we were talking about the relationships maybe versus strategy and how the jury's going to vote. If it is relationship, hands down, Kenzie's got this. Like everyone loves Kenzie. She's definitely been someone that people will go to talk about personal or strategy. She knows everything and she's in the know about everything and people care about her and she genuinely cares about people. Like in her confessional, she's crying about taking care of Ben because it reminds her of her family or whatever. You know, she's making.
She delayed her wedding. Another emotional thing.
Yeah. But yeah, emotionally, we are connected to Kenzie very much so. We know everything about her, it feels like. So, and I think the rest of the castaways also feel really connected to Kenzie. So, yeah, I don't like, what else is there to say about Kenzie? I don't know. Like she's been number one for so long. Just feels like inevitable at this point.
Oh, and Rebekah, I don't know if I told this to you. I told this to Mary. She did get married after the season. And now she's pregnant. Did I say that to you as well?
Yes, you did say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone's caught up then. She just posted this week she's preggers. Pretty preggers too. Like she had a whole belly and everything.
Yeah. So, she was talking about like having to hide it and how hard that was.
Well, I'm trying to think like, I don't think they would somehow include that. That would be like a live reunion thing. And we're not getting a live reunion, unfortunately. I'm like, I wonder if they could somehow include, I did get married afterwards, but they never really do like a follow up.
Yeah.
Like they did on The Amazing Race last week, which was weird. We haven't watched the finale yet as the time of recording. Last week they did like and these two are still like together or friends or something. I'm like, they never do this on Amazing Race. Like, what is this?
That was weird.
So I was like, Survivor, maybe they should do like, and show some pictures. And now Kenzie, is married and pregnant with her $1 million. And Liz is like in the background, like crying or something. I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, Kenzie's number one. I feel like her and Charlie were holding hands, not like her and Ben, but her and Charlie were holding hands on the stage. I do think they are not holding hands anymore. I think there's a little bit of a gap between her and Charlie. And it really was hammered home last night when again, we get a scene with Ben. And again, it's really focused on Kenzie. It's really about Kenzie.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't do this twice. I mean, we do it once, but we really don't do it twice unless it really means something. Well, I don't know. That's just the kind of stuff you leave in for winners.
Also, and I don't know how relevant this is, but at the tribal this week, when Kenzie is like talking about how they're all a family, she calls Charlie a dog and Liz a grandma.
A dependable dog.
Yeah. And so it's just like, even those tiny little things that could be subtly influencing the jury, like, okay, Ben and Q, they're just like the guys who are there.
The brothers.
We know that they're not going to win. Now Maria is a big threat and I think Maria does have to go, but I think she said Maria is like the aunt that always takes care of us. And then Liz is the grandma that is kind of cranky, but we all love her. And then Charlie's the dog. So like just that even subtle psychological like put down of, and there's me, I'm the perfect child kind of thing.
This is what Jam would do too.
Yeah. And it's funny and everyone's laughing, but at the same time, it's like, oh, do I want to vote for the main character or do I want to vote for the family dog kind of thing?
I'm sorry. Can we point out something you just said there? Are you telling me that Kenzie was able to make fun of everybody left in the game, nobody got offended, and she made people laugh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's why she's number one.
Interesting. Now, let's talk about the 20 times Charlie's made us laugh. Silence. That's why I thought.
You're just going to put in a cricket sound effect there.
Cricket right there, man. Exactly. This is my point. Kenzie's going to win over this jury in a face-off against Charlie. Now, if it's a tie, amazing. And if Ben votes for Kenzie, amazing. Like, I'm sorry that we spoiled. If that's what happens, I don't know that for a fact. That would be an amazing ending. But Kenzie's going to make the jury laugh. The fact that she was able to say that about the entire group of people left in the game and we got no offense from anybody shown is amazing to me. By the way, did Jeff tell them they're going to the stupid Final Five Island again? I forgot. I didn't catch that last night. They always do it for the finale.
Yeah. I don't recall him mentioning that.
Yeah, okay. That'd be nice if they didn't do it for once. Yeah. People were saying they do it in the they do it so that they can help prepare to set up the next season for the next group of people because that's how short the turnaround is. But I'm like, but the even numbered seasons, there's no that's it. Like they're done. Like there's no season to be filmed right after. So why would they do it for even numbered? So I'm hoping this even numbered season they don't go to the stupid Final Five Island It's not intense. Nobody cares about it. It means nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Let them just go back to camp and focus on the tribe dynamics and not focus on, ooh, we're on a spooky island. Ooh. Which is actually Island of the Idols, if I'm pretty sure. That's what Sandra said on Instagram like a year ago. She's like, that's just the Island of the Idols where we lived at. And I'm like, ooh, spooky. Sandra and Rob's ghosts are there.
Well, there's not that many islands around.
Yeah,
I mean, there are a bunch of islands around, but yeah.
By the time Star 50's done filming, it'll be 17 seasons. Like, yeah, there's only like, 8, 9 islands, and you've used them all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, only 8 or 9 islands that they have used. I know there's more in Fiji than what they've used. I'm very aware. So, well, actually, Fiji's bigger than what you see on Survivor. All right, so who is next, Mary, after Kenzie?
Did Rebekah have any thoughts on Kenzie or anything else to add? I don't know if we heard from her.
Did you not talk about Kenzie, Rebekah?
No, I don't think I did. Sorry, I had one thing I was going to add. I mean, we said, like, yeah, she's my number one, obviously. Obviously. But, yeah, one thing I was going to add, it is interesting because I feel like from the audience's perspective, like, I just agree with everything you guys were saying, so echo all of that. But, yeah, it seems like so obvious that she's a winner. I do feel like from someone on the island's perspective, it is interesting because, like, Kenzie really doesn't have a ton of, like, I guess, like, resume moves. Like, okay, she survived Yanu, so that's, like, a cool thing. She's the last of that tribe, so good for her. But, I mean, she wasn't part of the Tiffany vote out, which was, like, kind of a big, like, misstep, I guess, in some ways for her game. And yet, despite all of that, it still seems so obvious to us as the audience that she's the winner. And so, again, I mean, I think, like we said, it comes back to likability and just the fact that, like, yeah, she's so personable with everyone and just, like, has, like, really genuine, like, personal connections with everyone. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like, fascinating, though, to see kind of her game is almost the antithesis of, like, Charlie's game, where he's, like, strategy, and, like, not as much personal content.
Charlie's made people laugh 20 times, Rebekah.
I mean, he has, and he's a Swiftie. So I'm not saying he has no personality, but
his whole
just
personality
like
is being a Swiftie.
Yeah,
on the show.
And that's how that goes. If you become a Swiftie, you have to sign something that says this is my personality now. So yeah, I don't know. But with Kenzie, I mean, we're getting still so much content from her, even when she's not like last night. She wasn't part of any big moves or anything, but we're still hearing from her in confessional. So yeah, I like Kenzie a lot. I would be really happy with her as a winner. So I hope she wins.
Hopefully Taylor Swift never has like some big controversy because this season will age poorly for Charlie if it does.
Yeah. I mean, Taylor Swift does have some controversies, but
yeah, I mean, like a big controversy. I don't want to put anything on her. I'm not trying to curse Taylor Swift. I'm just saying hopefully there's no big controversies. Yeah, controversies happen obviously when you're popular. I'm talking about big, like, oof, nobody likes this person anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for Kenzie. Who is next, Mary?
All right. So next we have Liz. Liz has no votes against her. Liz has 35 confessionals. She had 5 this week. So she's tied with Banu now.
As I said yesterday, for those listening, I couldn't DM Liz directly. I think she has her DMs closed unless she DMs you. I did post a tweet saying, Liz, we would love to sponsor your business for free. If you all could go to my Twitter and like that tweet and respond to Liz about how I'm being legit, that would be amazing because I am being legit. And because Liz was she's like a little sus, but she DM'd me, allowed me to explain. I explained as of the moment of me recording this, she has not replied to my, we would love to, and we like you, and here's our channel thing. So if you all could, what's it called? Not review bomb, the opposite, the nice version of that. What's it called when I just want people to flood in with positive responses?
Yes.
To the post and be like, Liz, like, we love you. Like lay it into her. You know what I mean? In a good way. Tell her about how much we love her and her Applebee's and her money. You know what I mean? That's what we want to tell her. So we're working on it. If we get an ad read next week, you'll know it succeeded. But I'm working on it. I was like, this will be the perfect way to end the season is with an ad read for her business. And we'll finally learn what it's about. Now, in regards to Liz winning the game, unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's number 5.
Liz is great. That's why I have all these photos of her and her life in the video, but of Applebee's and money, of course. But is Liz going to win the game? That would be amazing. That would be funny. I would love it. I can't believe Liz, rumored billionaire, would win another million. Like, that's nothing to a rumored billionaire. But Mary, what do you have on Liz? Mary's just over there laughing.
My only notes for Liz's content this week is that she pooped and she's ready to play the game. She's excited to be working with people who want to work with her, aka Charlie and Kenzie. She did comfort Maria after the episode started out with Maria a little upset because Venus was negative toward her and how she treated the reward. And if anyone had a reason to be mad at Maria, it would be Liz, because she was the one not picked again to go on the reward. But she goes over and comforts Maria, and she is really kind to her about it. So that was positive, I guess, but it was so short. It was like 3 seconds maybe. And then the only other thing I had is at Tribal, she said that people should take her because she doesn't win challenges, she has no alliances, and she can't make fire. So, and then of course she was happy to go on the reward. Finally, she got to go on a reward. She got to eat food. And she got to hear from her daughter. So it was just like the best day ever. So
Liz's ideal situation is that she gets to the final 3 and people vote for her because Tevin told them all that she's rich already. Because remember, Tevin was the one who responded like, why would we?
Yeah.
And she's the last Nami and Tevin's there. That's all I'm saying. Tevin's aware she's rich. He might tell the jury this and they'll be like, you know what? We know you're going to wisely invest this money and we're going to vote for you.
Yeah. She's like, I'll turn this $1 million into $10 million and then I'll share it with you.
Liz needs to approach Final Tribal like it's Shark Tank, okay? And they're the sharks and she's trying to get their money, which is weird for her. I know usually she's the shark and people are coming to her Shark Tank, but in a role reversal, she's going to their Shark Tank. And that's how, forget Final Tribal. Approach it like Shark Tank, Liz. Tell them how much money you need and tell them what they're investing in.
What if this whole season, when everyone else has been idol hunting, we think that Liz has been sleeping, but actually she's been developing a prototype for something, for a game? I don't know, something that she's going to then pitch to the jury and be like, I need $1 million to fund this.
Plot twist, it's actually that VR game they keep trying to advertise during Survivor, and Liz actually did develop it. And so plot twist, it turns out the whole time that game was made by Liz.
Wow.
Even though I'm pretty sure based on her website, she does email marketing. That's all I know, really, until I do an ad read and I learn everything. But she could have done email marketing to get that game made. I don't know how it works. Yeah. I have legitimately zero idea. I know games take longer than 6 months, so I assume she had no part in that, but it could be wrong. And I don't want to sound silly if it turns out she actually did have a big part in that game. Yeah, I know. Liz just needs to go like Shark Tank on this thing. If Liz makes Final 3, I don't know where her pitch is. And I'm afraid worst case scenario is that we get like Liz, Ben, Charlie, Liz, Ben, Kenzie. It's like, it's not really a competition in the Final 3. I was kind of hoping Liz would be in the Final 3 versus Kenzie and Charlie, frankly. That's what I was really hoping for. Like a good Final 2, and maybe Liz sneaks in with a Gabler. You know what I mean? Like there's always a good chance. But like Ben being there kind of ruins that. So I have to put Liz at 4 because nobody's talking about getting rid of her. And Rebekah, I think you've talked about this and I'll let you go. You've talked about there's been like fire in her glasses or something like that.
Yeah, they've done a couple of, I've noticed it like in 2 or 3 episodes where, because someone pointed this out like kind of early on, where they do the shot that they did with Carson, of like her looking at fire and it's like reflected in her glasses. There was one where she was like making fire. I think it was after she didn't get picked by Q. She was like sobbing back at camp trying to make fire and it like wasn't going her way. And then, yeah, again, last night when she mentioned like, hey guys, just a reminder, I'm not good at making fire. And so, yeah, I don't know. I kind of think that she's probably going to go out in the fire making challenge.
No.
But I don't know. We'll see. It depends on who's left. Cause like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it probably would have to be like if Ben, wins and then it's like Charlie and Kenzie and Liz and he puts like, Charlie and Liz in Final Fire or something along those lines. Like yeah, I could see that being a realistic scenario, but yeah, I don't know. So Liz is number 4 for me because I think she's probably gonna go out and fire, but I really have enjoyed watching her. I mean, I think if she gets to the end, her pitch is like, hey, I've been like really passionate in this game. I've screamed at Q for not taking me to Applebee's, and I've, fought every day without eating anything, and
now,
I made it to the end.
She is gluten-free, and then she did eat Chinese last night, which looked like it was loaded with gluten. So I'm unsure what she meant by her allergies and being gluten-free. I'm hoping somebody could explain.
It depends on what kind of gluten-free.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you probably know more about it than I do. I was just saying, I'm pretty sure that there are specific types of rice and noodles that don't have maybe like the wheat gluten or whatever.
Because when Jeff said they had pizza, he said, and we have gluten-free pizza. But with Chinese, he did not say that.
Yeah. And I mean, it depends on like what kind of gluten-free she is. Because there's some people that are like gluten intolerant where it just kind of like upsets your stomach. But there's other people who have like celiacs. So it's like you will die if you eat gluten. So if she's just like gluten intolerant, she might be able to have some. But also like, I don't know, if there's a lot of gluten in there, that might not have been ideal. So I don't know. Yeah,
I thought there was gluten in noodles, but I guess there are different noodles.
Yeah, there are gluten-free noodles that you can get. But yeah, since Jeff didn't mention it, I don't know if they were or not. I don't know.
Just kind of confusing.
If Liz does sponsor the podcast, we need to know, was there gluten in the Chinese food? So.
Yeah. Also, even though we told everyone we're going to do it for free, and I posted that in my Twitter, we are going to say legally we cannot comment on how much she paid us.
Yes.
Legally speaking. Yeah. All right. Liz, for news number 4, Mary, where's she ranked for you?
5.
Wow. Maria has to go. She can't be in final 3, right? I know you have her ranked above Liz and Ben, but like Maria cannot be in the final 3.
Oh, I know. But if she somehow makes it to the final 3, she has more of a chance of winning than Ben and Liz.
But she's not.
I'm not going on the edit said Ben's probably not going to be that. What I'm going on based off like, if we went to tribal right now, who would win? And what are their chances of?
All right, let's just move to Maria so we can talk about Maria because I'm ready to debate on this one. My Marie, go ahead.
Maria has no votes against her. She had 12 confessionals this week, but she only has 43 confessionals total. So a few more than Ben and Liz, but still way under Charlie and Kenzie.
My Maria has said yesterday, that she is the big target. I'm paraphrasing, and that it'd be dumb not to vote her off. AKA, whoever gets off Maria it's gonna be a big notch in their belt.
Yes.
She cannot be in final 3. She is number 5 for me. She cannot win the game. You don't say stuff like that and then she's not winning. She's been set up as a target. She's the only one currently set up as a target, I might add. I know Charlie was, but Charlie clearly won the battle between him and Maria. So Maria's gone. She's next, or she's final 4. Like, she's not final 3. She's not in the final 3. She's not winning. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying. Sorry, Rebekah.
The only exception would be the only exception would be if she wins her way to the end, because she is a challenge beast, and that's not outside of the scope of possibility.
That is true.
Yeah, if it, because I could see like a scenario like if it's Maria and like, I mean, even like Kenzie and Liz, let's say.
Ben.
I still think
Ben has to be final 3.
Oh yeah, it has to be Ben. Okay, so it has to be like Maria, Kenzie, and Ben. I still think Kenzie's winning, but to Mary's point, like I think Maria would have a case for sure. Like I think she's played a really good game, and she certainly beats Ben.
Why do they build up Charlie all season if he's not in the final 3? Like he feels so dumb to put them neck and neck just to have Maria, Ben, Kenzie in final 3. They should have built up Maria more, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just nothing adds up to Maria being in final 3 and winning. Just nothing. There's nothing. They've undercut her. They didn't let us emotionally care about her. Mary, doesn't she have an episode or 2 where she had 0 confessionals?
She had 1 episode of 0 confessionals, and she's had 2 with just 1 confessional. So.
The 0 confessional is a killer. We've talked about this. Everyone who's had 0 confessionals is either A, not in the game, or B, is Maria.
And I definitely understand and appreciate your edit logic. Like, just strictly based on the edit, we know Maria's not going to win. I'm simply, like, mine is simply just like, looking at from gameplay. So she's won tons of immunities. She's got a good alliance that's brought her this far. She did a good strategy in keeping Q around so that he was a number for her. So like as far as just being a great player, she is a really good player. Her problem I think came when she upped her threat level just a little bit too early, and that's why she's going to go home next. I agree with you. I think she's going to go home next. But as far as like having a chance to win, she should be technically number 1. But we know based on the edit that she's not. Therefore, she's number 3 for me. But if she somehow makes it by winning immunity, like she has a really good chance of winning. She just doesn't have the relationships that Kenzie and Charlie have. And she's blindsided a lot of people. So that could be where she maybe messes up if she does get to the end. But she's just a strong survivor player, in my opinion. This is why she has to go above Ben and Liz.
Maria may have peacocked too early, which I think is wild to say, and with the final 8 vote. But I mean, yeah, if Maria's in the final 3, she should on paper win. But also the edit has not added up to this, and I'm here to talk about the edit. We can talk about gameplay all day. It's like a whole separate thing. I'm not here to talk about gameplay. I'm here to talk about the edit. Unless the gameplay is supporting the edit or going against the edit. Frankly, Maria's gameplay is good. If she were to win immunities to the end, I think she has a good chance. I just don't see it happening. Rebekah, what do you think?
Yeah, I do agree with you. I mean, yeah, Maria is ranked at number 5 for me as well. But I think it's one of those things that like, yeah, Kenzie and Charlie are like top 2. And again, like there's just a big gap between them and everyone else. And I feel like, you know, Ben, Liz, and Maria, I don't know, they're kind of like equal in the sense of like chances of winning. But if you, like Mary's saying, if you compare Maria's like gameplay to Ben and Liz, like she's clearly done more than they have. But again, I mean,
gameplay, Maria has played better. Yes.
But again, like you were saying, then the reason that she's number 5 for me is because I do think that this cast is going to put more emphasis on relationships. And so, yeah, the fact that she's, you know, been the face of so many blindsides and has been such a like challenge threat and doesn't have the personal connections with people that we've seen, you know, like someone like Kenzie has. That's why she's like number 5 for me. But I do like Maria. I would love to, I mean, it would be cool to like see her play again, I guess. But yeah, I don't think she's going to win this season.
Do you remember Heidi getting second place?
Yes, vaguely.
Which season was that?
Which season was that?
I know the answers to these questions. I'm just asking you to without looking it up.
44.
Yeah, did you just look that one up, Mary?
No.
All right. Yeah, no, it's 44. She got second to Jam Jam. That's
Yes.
Maria's best case scenario. Best case is the second place because she gets a vote. Best case. I just don't see it, but it's best case. I am with you. I think there's been very apparent that people were very openly negative about her picking Q over people, essentially. It's just nothing adds up to a winner. If she wins, great. We'll reevaluate everything, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think in order for her to win, like she would have to, I think if the Charlie vote would have gone her way yesterday, she would be like obviously in a much better spot.
Oh.
But like she has to get Charlie out in order to have any shot at winning. Because if the two of them are sitting next to each other at the end, yeah, there's no way. And I mean, actually, regardless, there's no way. If she's sitting next to Kenzie, she's also not winning. But you know, honestly,
Charlie and Kenzie have gotten a big boost here, having Maria stay in the game as long as she has, because her and Q has just kept the eyes off of them in any serious way. Whereas had Maria and Q gone out when they wanted, like eyes would be on them sooner than they wanted. They would not. They're in a better position because of this. So, Maria for me is number 5. Mary, what number is she for you?
3.
Let's start with Survivor 41. Number 6 for me. Bottom of the barrel. There's just nothing. I do not want to watch this season. I'm okay. I'm good. Like there's just, I don't know. Anyways, I don't really like 41. I think it was poorly edited. I think there was too many advantages in the beginning. And this is back when it was 60 minutes and they just like there was literally one episode where I could not believe my eyes that they just put the advantage right next to the fire.
Yeah.
Like that. I cannot get over that. There was an episode where they went to some shack in the middle of the night. So, which was a journey. We didn't know journeys were going to be common, but that was just another journey. in a season where every episode for like 7 in a row had a journey. It was insane. And then of course they're pushing their new political agenda, but they went way too hard on it. They didn't ease into it. They just went right into it thinking this will be fine. And a huge backlash. It's caused people for years now to leave angry comments. I still get people leaving angry comments on mine. I'm like, I didn't even make the decision. Come on in, guys. Like, I don't care if he says it. I don't care. I'll say it for you. But anyways, I just feel like 41 caused so much negativity, and it wasn't even like a fun season to watch. And then the winner was purpled for half the season. It's just like, what is the redeeming factors of the season? Shan, because she was a villain. It's about it. Nothing else I really cared for. So anyways, that's my brief rant of 41. Mary, what do you think about Survivor 41?
I agree. It's 6 for me also. It's the one I really don't want to watch again at all. That we weren't expecting any of the new twists really, or, we weren't quite ready for that. And so when they all come out, it's just like, this is what the new era is going to be. And then, the purple edit of Erica, it was just frustrating.
People are nonsensically telling us during the show how they've never given them no food before, which is a blatant lie. They did it starting back in season 4. So it's like the new era had already forgotten how the show it's on. I don't know. Just the whole thing was frustrating. Go ahead, Mary. I could not believe the amount of dumb things stated during 41.
Right.
On purpose.
There were a lot of bad feelings that came up when we watched the show. So it's not one that I don't think either of us really want to watch again.
Go ahead, Rebekah.
Yeah, I agree. So the averaging is working out so far because it's also number 6 for me. So that makes that
All right,
easy.
Mary, do the math on that. 18 divided by 3.
Yeah,
I got
do
it.
the math. I think I just echo a lot of what you guys are saying. I think it was in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously, like coming back from COVID, we're kind of out of the groove. I think it may have even been like overcorrecting from some stuff with like season 39 and just like other things. And so I think like it's totally fair that it took them a season or two to like find their footing with this new era. But that being said, it's not like a season that I want to go back and rewatch. And like, I don't know. It's not like, it's certainly not their best season.
And of course, it's a season where people pretend to be kumbaya and how everything's better now. And then as it turns out, we watch the Ponderosa videos, just Shan's ripping everyone, including her allies, a new one. And last season we get Ponderosa videos. And it's just like a whole thing. It's just like 41. There's like what? Like the best part to me was that Liana hated Xander, but I think she actually had a crush on Xander. She's like, I hate his face. And then there are like secret scenes where she's like tackling him and following him around. It's like, just kiss already, you two. Like that's the only part 41 I like kind of liked. And Xander's backstory being, in middle school, I was a little chubby and then I hit puberty.
Yeah.
Success.
Yep.
So like there's not much to 41 that's redeeming. Everything felt like they overcorrected. They went too far or too hard on their new ideas. They didn't ease into them. Remember that stupid do or die thing? Like, oh, we're gonna have a vote, but also we're gonna do a dice roll or whatever it was, or a flip of the coin.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, or you're gonna pull from a box. I forgot what it was. And like if you pull the die, you're out no matter what. It doesn't even matter if you got votes. It's like, because you were like last in the challenge. Like just dumb ideas that were not thought out. And don't get me wrong, the 20s and 30s had dumb ideas that were not fully fleshed out, but it was like one dumb idea for the season. It wasn't a series of like 20 dumb ideas that weren't thought out.
And because of, the state of the world at the time, they had like, how long was it? It was like a year and a half or 2 years between filming.
It aired a year and a half after 40. So we had a lot of time to wait for it.
Yeah. So there was a lot of time for them to be like, okay, here's like, let's throw all these ideas at the wall and see what sticks. And I think it was just too much time. Everyone was in a weird headspace. Yeah. So
Thankfully,
it makes sense.
Thankfully, Jeff said later how he took the changing the come on in guys wrong. Like he should have just done it and not made a thing of it on the show. And it's like, yes, like change it. Just don't make a thing of it. Just there's no reason to make like a show of it, to pretend like we're all high and mighty because we're dropping the word guys. Because Ricard at the time was married to a woman who's now a guy. By the way, they're not married anymore. But the Survivor's still not saying guys. So, take that for what you will.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. The whole season is nonsense. So I don't like it. The only person I want to see back from the season is Shan.
You do?
That's it. Yes, Shan is a great villain. I think she's unaware enough where she'll still be a villain if she returns. If anything, she'll be more righteous about her character.
Yes.
She'll be more. She was the same way on the challenge. She was on the challenge and she was unchanged. So I don't think Shan's going to be better as a person. I think she'll be a villain, which is amazing. And I want that. I don't want her to win though. To be clear, that's not what I'm saying. Just want her to return for 50. I assume 50. All right, let's talk about a better season, Survivor 42. This one, I have no proof, but I have very strong feelings based on how production works, how they film seasons back to back, and how headstrong they were going into 41 and how 41 was received, that there was a massive re-edit for 42 to basically, like the Rupert edit in Pearl Islands, sand away the edges. Let's not focus on all the negatives nearly as much. Let's make this look better than it really is. 42, in my opinion, is an okay season. Had they not gotten negative backlash to 41, it would have been the same as 41 in a lot of ways. But I think a lot was cut out and changed, and they tried to avoid things people didn't like to make a more accepted season of Survivor. So Survivor 42, in that sense, kind of feels bland in a sense because of it, though I really do like Marianne as a winner.
So where do you have it ranked?
I'm going to think on it. Mary, go ahead and give me your thoughts on Survivor 42.
I agree with you. It was a decent season. Like you said, it was less dramatic than 41. But yeah, just kind of like, it was all right. I don't necessarily like Marianne as a winner.
What?
I don't feel like she did anything at all, but
she plays Mario Kart. I remember.
Yes. So 42 for me is number 4. Like, it's one I might watch at some point again, but I really would be fine if I never did. So yeah, that was kind of how I judge my rankings. Like, how much do I want to rewatch this? Basically.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Go ahead, Rebekah. What do you think about Survivor 42?
Yeah, I feel very similarly to you, Mary. It's also ranked number 4 for me. So your averaging is going really well so far. It's like
I'm going to
simple.
stay with you guys. I'm going to say number 4 for me as well. I'm curious what you all have at number 5. Well, because the one I have at number 5, I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be bored watching number 5 again. So
yeah.
All right, I'm interested what you guys have at number 5.
Yeah.
I'll put 42 at 4. I think 42 was okay. I think there was some, like, Jonathan was like this massive hulk of a man who I think was interesting. Omer with his bird shirt, like, I think he has potential. Some of these people though, like, kind of, I don't know, like, I feel like we've gotten almost like copies of in other New Era seasons, and talking about not these specific people, but just the cast in general. It feels like a lot of copy and pasting on some of the players. So I don't remember most of them. But 42, I remember Omer, I remember Jonathan, I remember Marianne. Oh, and I remember Hai saying that he's going into Final Tribal with an open mind as he wore a feminist shirt, which was 10 out of 10, amazing, top tier. Great job. So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like 42 is doing some re-edits, man. They're like, there's just some stuff we literally cannot avoid because it's the shirt says feminist. Like, we cannot, like, that was a production decision. They let him wear that. They let him wear that
his shirt the whole time, and it's like, how do you?
Or curse words on there. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, Survivor 42, production wise, I bet you was exactly the same as 41, being there in person, but then they changed it to the best of their ability. There's some stuff they just couldn't avoid because of the way the show went. So yeah, for me, it's number 4. It's an okay season. It's just okay. So Survivor 43, this one is all over the place. It is up and down. There are times where I was like bored. And then there are times where I was like, holy crap. Sammy's only 19. So Sammy's only 19. Gabler shocks us all with a win. Even though some people said they saw it the whole time. Good for them. I was shocked by a Gabler win. In a good way. I like that Cassidy got her comeuppance by not listening to the jury as they told her, if you do X, I'm not going to vote for you. And then she's like, I'm just going to do it anyways. And it's like amazing, wonderful. Like, this is 101 on how to lose Survivor. And I love when the show teaches us a lesson on how to win or how to lose. And Cassie was a lesson on how to lose. Just don't listen to the jury as they tell you, if you do X, I will not vote for you. Okay, I'm going to do X anyway. Screw you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we're learning a lot in these recent seasons. Like, if you don't play your hidden immunity idol, if you don't listen to the jury,
voted off. Just 101 lessons that you should have known already, but I guess let's learn them anyways. 101, if the jury tells you, hey, if you vote me off, like if you don't face me in fire, I am not going to vote for you. Screw you. I'm not facing you in fire anyways. I don't have to. Yeah, you're right. You don't have to. I'm not going to vote for you. So it's like, anyways, 43 also had Jesse literally like burning Cody hard. He also somehow stole Dwight's idol, or was it Janine's idol? I forget whose idol it was. He stole somebody's idol and then revealed it like 3 episodes later, and everyone's like, what? Like, you had that idol the whole time? And it's like Jesse was just pulling off surprise after surprise. But there was also episodes where we're just kind of like, like, I can't believe we're doing our 5th journey or whatever, you know? Like, I can't believe we're still doing some of the dumb stuff of the new era. So 43 for me is pretty great. Mary, what do you think about 43?
I have 43 at number 1 because of all the reasons you just stated. I think that being surprised by the winner and still liking the winner was great. Like, I really enjoyed the fact that I didn't know who the winner was going to be. The cast, I love. Like, I loved Jesse. I loved Carla. I loved Cody. The whole casting was just so good. But I also really enjoyed the Beware Advantages that season, where they had to get everyone's beads and make an idol out of it. Like, yes, that was such a cool, like, to that point, Beware Advantages were just, oh no, please not a Beware Advantage. This is going to be so dumb or whatever. But I actually enjoyed the Beware Advantages. I would rewatch it again because sure, there might have been some slow moments, but I think it was really fun. And also, I want to rewatch it again because I haven't seen it since it aired. And I want to watch it knowing that Gabler is the winner and, how that might change my perspective of it. But I enjoyed the season a lot. I know a lot of people don't because of the Gabler win, but it's number 1 for me. I would rewatch it today.
And he donated the $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
And Eliza Orland tried calling him out on Twitter about it, and then he showed proof of him donating the $1 million. And not a word of apology from that lady. So, Rebekah, what do you think about 43?
Yeah, I think 43 is honestly kind of mid for me in a lot of ways because of the winner specifically. Because I think that there are some high highs during the season, like the Sammy's only 19, like I love Jesse, I love Carla, like there's a lot of highs throughout the season, but I was like a little disappointed with Gabler winning, not because I'm like against Gabler necessarily, but because it was just so like out of nowhere. I just like really didn't see it coming. And so it felt like a little like unsatisfying at the end. But that being said, I think if I would go back and rewatch it. And I think, like you said, Mary, like I would like to go back and watch it again, like knowing that he's going to win. Cause I think that might, I don't know. Yeah. It might be like a more enjoyable watch, but yeah, I just remember like initially seeing him win and it was like, oh, I'm like a little disappointed by that, so but nothing against Gabler. I'm glad that he donated the $1 million, like that's cool. But yeah, it's number 3 for me.
With 90-minute episodes, I think the Gabler win would make more sense because when I did go back and rewatch it to make his video, I saw every single juror that he got a vote from, how he was making friends with them. Like they literally had scenes of him being friends with each of the jury members. And because the show was just 60 minutes, like they didn't have time to hang on it, kind of like Kenzie, like with Ben a second time, like a little obvious, huh? Well, like we didn't get that. It was like Gabler had a scene and it was like kind of random if you don't think Gabler's going to win, but knowing Gabler's going to win, it's like, oh no, this is because they're establishing Gabler's friends with this person, So it's like in our rewatch, it actually is going to make more sense than the first time through for sure. But I will say I'm going to put 43 at number 3 for myself. And there is a gap between 4 and 3. I want to be very clear on that. There is a gap between 4 and 3. It is not close. It is number 3 for me. I almost put it at number 2 because I like the winner of 43 more than I like the winner of who's going to be number 2. But the overall season is what I'm trying to rank here, not just the winner. It's not a winner ranking. So 43 for me is number 3. What'd you put it at, Rebekah?
Number 3 as well.
Interesting how I'm positive on it and you're like, same ranking. Mary, where do you have 43 at?
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay. So finally, for once, Mary has to do some math. All right, let's move on to Survivor 44. Go ahead, Rebekah.
Yeah. So yeah, 44, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I like Jam Jam as a winner, which, and I don't know if I've said this already, but like, yeah, to me, the winner of the season does have a pretty big influence on like how I feel about the season. Cause like, I just enjoy like the overall like story and gameplay and, all of that. And like, I want it to make sense. So I really like Jam Jam as a winner. I think he's, obviously very charismatic and just fun to watch. And so even though it was kind of like obvious, especially towards the end, that he was going to win, it was like, it made sense. And so I appreciated that. I loved some of the like ongoing jokes that we had. So like Claire hasn't participated in a challenge.
Still to this day has not.
To this day, she has not. Sir Kane was just like a really fun character throughout the season. And obviously like the trio of, Carson, Carolyn, Jam Jam was just like really fun to watch. So yeah, I think it was just like, I don't know, a really good season. I really enjoyed it. There was, some good gameplay. It was fun to just watch Jam Jam like just knock people out. So I'm pretty high on this season. This is number 2 for me.
Wow. Okay. Survivor 44. Yeah. I'm of the opinion that it was so utterly predictable that I don't want to go back and watch it. It was so predictable. The TK3 ran the game. Like they faced a little opposition in the beginning when their tribe they lost a few members, but I don't know. Like Jam Jam is a good winner. If this was a winner ranking, they would not be landing where they're about to land. But if we were doing winner ranking, because I like Jam Jam, but I don't know. Carolyn's like a character for sure. But other than that, Matt and Franny are still together. Claire didn't set a challenge. Like there's some positives. It's going to sound crazy, but I just like, we're talking about, as Mary said, like she's ranking it based on her desire to rewatch. My desire to rewatch 44 is so low. Like I have almost no interest. So I'm putting it at number 5. I am not interested in rewatching 44. It's predictable from the very first opening scene of who's going to win. There's never any doubt Jam Jam's going to win, in my opinion. Like the whole time, it's like Jam Jam. I think from the very first episode, I was like, so it's Jam Jam, MGM, or what? Who's the third person? Franny. But like, it's Jam Jam. It's Jam Jam. And it's always was going to be Jam Jam. And he's a good winner and he did nothing wrong. It's not his fault. This season is predictable. But like, I can't name moments from 44 that I thought were great. Moments. There are people who I like, but there are not any moments. 43 had moments where I'm like, this is a top like moment of the show. 44 can't name a single moment where I thought was a top moment of the show. None. There's just nothing in 44. I'm like, what? No way. And that is a huge factor for me. Chaos is a huge factor for me. And because of the chaos factor being super low, I'm putting 40. And I understand some people may not agree. They'll be like 42 is above 44, but I don't know. I feel like 42, there's some, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's been a little bit longer. So therefore I'm like more willing to rewatch it than 44 at the moment. And that's why we do these rankings every season. So when 40 several comes around and we redo the rankings again, we'll see where I'm at. But as of the moment, I have no interest in rewatching 44. So it's at number 5, but everything's better than 41. Everything.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a gap between everything and 41. So who has not ranked 44 yet? Rebekah? Mary?
Mary hasn't.
I think
Go
it's
ahead,
me.
Mary. I forgot what order we went in. Sorry.
It's okay. I also have 44 at 3. So I said also as in
what did you guys put at number 5?
Well, we'll get there when we get there.
I cannot believe that either of the last 2 seasons are at number 5. Okay, all right. I'm interested in this one.
The only thing I have to say about 44 is the same thing that you have also said. I love Matt and Franny. I love Carson, Carolyn, and Jam Jam. As far as characters, I didn't feel like there was a lot of great gameplay in that season. And
no good moments.
And the predictability of Jam Jam winning just kind of took it down for me. So it's number 3 because I like the characters, and there's others that I don't know. The characters make me want to like it, watch it again. But yeah, in general, it's kind of a so-so season. So number 3 for me.
I will say at least the art department went all out with their medieval theming. The show did nothing to help them in terms of challenges or having a theme for the season, but the art department went all out with medieval theme, and I appreciate their dedication to actually trying. The art department's always trying, by the way, always. Every season they're trying. They're doing their best. If they could just be given some sort of direction on a theme, you know what I mean? They could do their best if you would just let them do something. That's how it feels. At the moment, it feels like Jeff's like, yeah, it's called Survivor 46. And they're like, so we can do whatever we want? He's like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, that's how it feels at the moment.
Japanese themed.
Yeah. Oh, man. That'd be amazing.
That's what this season is. 46 is Japanese themed.
I was thinking of them actually going to Japan, but I'm like, there's probably no location in Japan to do a Survivor season on for good reason. It's a small island with a lot of people. All right. So 44 What's the what was the ranking? So 3, 3, 5, me being 5?
No, it's 2 for Rebekah, 3 for me, and you have 5.
I'm about to hear some slander and I know it. Survivor 45. I played with the boys. Did you know Katurah hates Bruce? 45, with the exception of the Reba 4 predictably steamrolling, is a really fun season. They nailed the 90 minutes. Lulu was a massive mess from the very start. Caleb was trying to teach us about Sabai was trying to teach us how aliens built the pyramids, obviously. Emily has a growth arc, goes from supervillain to a sympathetic hero by the end. We had 2 quits, which just made everyone mad, and I think is hilarious that Hannah the therapist quit and Sean the school principal, people are supposed to be helping others, quit a game of Survivor less than 10 days into the season. And I don't know, there's just a lot that happened, and I love it all. I really love it. I don't know. 45 is really good, and I'm putting it at it's gonna be hard to say. I think I'm putting it at number 2. I want to say number 1, but I'm putting it at number 2. But it's close. It's close because I don't know the ending of 46 yet. So go ahead, you people who do not agree with me, I assume. Go ahead, Rebekah.
Yes. So, this may be a little, I don't know, extreme, but it is at number 5 for me.
Oh my gosh.
And I do want to clarify, like you said, there's a big gap between 5 and 6. So like season 41 is like way
nobody likes
lower
41
than 45.
Here.
Yes. So just to clarify that. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess to start with positives for 45, I did like that there were 90-minute episodes. I liked I liked the Lulu tribe. Emily and Caleb were both standouts. Obviously, we did have the moment with Caleb, negating, what was it, 11 votes. That was pretty iconic. So
I'm sorry, did you say there's a moment in 45 and 44 had none?
Yes,
Rebekah?
there is a moment.
And you're ranking 45 below it?
That is correct. However, in terms of negatives, I think just so like ongoing jokes throughout the season, the Katurah hates Bruce thing is just not as funny to me as like some of the other bits, like Claire not participating in a challenge. That's just my sense of humor. So that's just my opinion. I felt like, the Reba 4 just kind of steamrolling made the season, I think, a little more boring than it could have been.
The Tika 3 steamrolled 44, Rebekah.
Yeah, that's true. But I think there was just like the Tika 3, I don't know what it is about them. They're just more charismatic. I think that's really what it is. So it probably comes more down to like their personalities than I guess the way that they played the game necessarily. But yeah, especially like towards the end, it was just like, okay, Dee and Austin, and Dee's like winning, and she's a fine winner. Like, again, nothing against her, but just maybe not as charismatic as Jam Jam. So, just a little more boring.
And even in her final tribal, she's just like burning Austin. And it's like, I don't know, like I'm supposed to root for you. Like Austin said nothing wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, even with the vote being kind of close, it was like, it was surprising that the vote was that close. Cause it was like, well, obviously Dee's going to win, like honestly going into it, I thought she was just going to like sweep the jury, but that ended up not happening. And then, on top of that, just like you mentioned, the quits, that was kind of like frustrating, to be honest. Like watching it was just like, I don't know. It was like, hey, listen, like there's so many people that want to play this game and everyone's just quitting left and right, So I don't know. It's a fine season. Like I would probably rewatch it, but I don't know if I'd rewatch the whole thing. Like I'd rewatch the beginning because Lulu is so entertaining, but I don't know if I'd like watch all the way to the end, So yeah.
It is a bigger ask with it being 90 episodes to rewatch versus some of the other seasons. That is for sure.
Yeah, 90-minute episodes.
Yeah. Not longer episodes does make it a bigger ask to rewatch than others. Mary, 45.
I also have 45 at number 5.
Oh my gosh.
It's just,
did we watch the same season?
I really enjoyed I was going to say I really enjoyed the first half, but then you have all the quits. I didn't enjoy post-merge because it was just Reba dominated and it was so boring to watch. And while I love Emily, like Emily is the only reason I would rewatch it. Once she goes, it's like, I don't really care about
what about Katurah constantly betraying Jake? And he's like, let's do X and this will be good for our game.
No, that was annoying.
Katurah's like, yes, I will do that. And then she immediately doesn't do it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Frustrating. No, it's number 5 for me. I don't really want to watch it ever again.
And then at Final Tribal, she gets on to Jake as if Jake did something wrong. It's so stupid. Jake, if only you would tell me this. I literally told you what to do, Couture. Okay. Anyways, so 45 to me is because there was so much mess in it. There was a lot of mess in it. I think we forget the mess, and the mess frustrates you too. But I love the mess. I love all the mess. The only thing that disappoints me about 45, and the reason why I'm not going to put it number one is because of the winner. I feel like the two winners we've talked about potentially for 46 are better than the winner of 45, in my opinion. So
yeah, I agree.
At the rate we're going, if Liz wins, all right, let's just do it. For Survivor 46, obviously we have not seen the finale, so we're basing this on the fact. We're basing this on the idea that either Charlie or Kenzie are going to win at the moment. But I will say that a Liz win, immediate number one. Charlie or Kenzie winning, yeah, makes sense to be a number one. Liz winning, immediate number one, no questions asked. Maria winning, a little weird, and actually might bump it down below 45 because that wouldn't, like Maria or Ben winning at the moment, be like, this was the story they told of the winner. So that would knock it down for me to number two. But it is number one. It's number one because it's Charlie, Kenzie, and on the off chance Liz. Liz, come on, Gabler us, please. 46 has had so much. I really enjoy the cast not liking each other. We have finally gotten beyond, and I don't know if it'll return for you several, but we've finally gotten beyond the kumbaya. Everybody loves each other and pretends they're all best friends, even though actually they're not. And actually, they're off cheating on, and doing stuff. And it's a whole thing, it's just like a whole thing. And there's actually a lot of trash talk. They're just pretending to be kumbaya. But I just like the fact that it's just not kumbaya on the season or off the season. Good. That's the way I like it. I want people to be salty at each other. If I go on Survivor, I'm going to be salty if somebody gets me off. That's just the way it is. So I like the not saltiness. Q has caused chaos. Liz is rich. What else is going on around here? There's so much going on around here. The 90 minutes has helped. The knock to 46 for me is it's a slow start. Those first four episodes are so slow, and Banu dominates. In an inordinate amount of screen time. So it's a little recency bias. That's why I said, give us some time. I'll see how that start of the season really. I love Vanuatu though, and Vanuatu is a slow start, but Vanuatu, you only got to suffer through, 60-minute episodes. Survivor 46, you got to suffer through, the equivalent of 4 Vanuatu episodes and only 2 episodes because each episode's 2 hours. And it's like, ugh. So I really got to sit through 8 episodes. Really. It's 2 hours and then 2 90 minutes. That is an insane number of episodes I have to sit through essentially. To get, you tell me to move along, Mary. I'm telling Survivor 46 to move along. So this is why it could in the future move down. And I'm interested when I do the winner rankings this offseason with everyone's opinions where it lands because it has a slow start. But the finish, everything past episode 4 has been great. It's been a huge improvement. So Mary, Survivor 46.
No, I just would like to stay on topic, I guess is all.
I am.
46 for me. No matter if Kenzie or Charlie win, I think it's a great season. I definitely would rewatch it. It's probably number 2 for me right now because we're watching it currently, I guess. And I also did, like you're talking about Banu at the beginning, kind of frustrates me a little bit, as well as no idols being used correctly or at all, actually. That's a little frustrating to me. But as far as the content, the characters, the strategy, everything is really very well. And I could feel like in a year or so, be like, yes, this was one of the best seasons of the new era and move it up to 1. Just currently because I'm in the middle of watching it and I don't know who the winner is yet. That's why it's number 2 for me. But I agree with everything you said.
Rebekah.
Yes. Yeah. You guys are bringing up some great points. Yeah. It's also number 1 for me. I do love the 90-minute episodes, with the exception of the first 4. And the 2 hours for the second episode specifically was just way too long. So yeah, I am curious, kind of like you were saying, just how much recency bias there is for me right now, because it is at number 1. But I do think if I were to rewatch it, I would probably skip the first few episodes. I think it also somewhat depends on who wins. Because I don't know, if Kenzie wins, I think it might stay at number 1 for me. If Charlie wins, it'll be towards the top. It might be 1 or 2. But if anyone else wins, it's going to certainly drop quite a bit. So this is assuming that it's either Charlie or Kenzie.
What if Liz wins?
if Liz wins, I'm going to be honest.
How is that not the most hilarious thing? What?
Yeah, well, and because here's the other thing is like, okay, so the whole like idols not being played right now, I think that's hilarious. It's very funny when we're like watching it in real time. But in terms of like rewatch, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to think like, oh, that would be frustrating to rewatch.
Because you're going to remember that, oh yeah, nobody's going to play an idol and therefore I'm about to watch a bunch of...
It's like I have to sit through like 4 or 5 episodes of just like nonsense, plus the Bono at the beginning. So yeah, I think right now, like watching it live, it's certainly really high for me. It's number 1 because it's just like such an entertaining watch. But in terms of rewatch value, it might end up dropping down, but it's at number 1 right now for me.
Yeah, I think there's a little recency bias because I can talk myself out of 46 being number 1, but it is number 1 right now. So,
yeah,
Mary, you have our aggregated rankings.
Yes, I do.
Can you list them in order of worst to best?
Okay. So 6 is 41.
What?
5. So technically we have a tie at 4, but 5 is 45 and 4 is 42. 3 is 44. Number 2 is 43 and number 1 is 46.
If you could send those all to me, Mary, I'd appreciate it. So I'll put it in the description of the video for those who want to look at our text rankings for the winner analysis and for the season rankings. But yeah, I mean, it's all we got till the finale next week.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Somebody
it's going to be a good finale, I think.
Yes. Somebody recently asked me if we could do a third podcast where we talk about gameplay. And I'm like, by the time we're done with this podcast every week, I'm done talking about the current season we're on. Kind of over it. It's only so much I can say. I don't think I personally could never analyze gameplay without sitting there and just talking about the edit anyways. It's like, what am I doing? I'm like trying to now, what am I doing? Ignoring the edit to talk about gameplay. So yeah, I just don't see that happening.
I guess if we could give one gameplay like tip, it's play your hidden immunity idol.
Yes.
Especially when
I feel
others
like that
know
sums
about
up
it.
this season.
Especially if there's any hint that you're at the bottom or people don't like come on, just get it out of your pocket. All right. Well, anyways, that is it for this week. Mary and I will be doing the Survivor South Pacific deep dive breakdown podcast. We're gonna have to rewatch that season here in the next few weeks. We'll post that on Patreon sometime early June, probably. And then Mary and I will also be watching One World as well. We're gonna post that, I assume, sometime in June or July. So we're gonna get those out during the summer. Other potential summer podcasts. These are potential. I am not promising nothing. Unless Mary wants to, I was gonna say Rebekah and I might podcast the new Mole season that they're gonna put on Netflix in June.
Yeah.
Yep. They're releasing all the episodes over the course of 3 weeks, so it's only gonna be 3 podcasts if we do it. But I hadn't even talked to you about that, Rebekah. So I'm just saying it's potential. We might do it. Depends on how I feel at the time.
Yes. Fair enough.
And whether Rebekah, of course, wants to or Mary wants to. So yeah, new Mole season. So if you didn't watch the last one on Netflix, watch it because the new one's coming out. And it's basically it's the traitors, as if you didn't know who the traitors were, for those who keep suggesting that idea. Wow, you don't know who the mole is, so you got to figure it out. Well, what if the traitors, they didn't know who the traitors were? All right, I got it for you. It's called The Mole. It's on Netflix. I have an idea, Rebekah. What if they made The Mole, but you did know who the mole was?
Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
put that one in your brain bank. They should make the mole where you know who the mole is, and like you can get like their thoughts on what they're doing and stuff.
Yes.
They could like maybe talk to the camera directly about how they're the mole. And maybe there's like multiple moles, like 3 of them.
Oh.
And they meet in a
What
tower
if they
at
did
night?
What if they filmed the whole season and then they released 2 versions of the show? One version where you know who the mole is, and then one where you don't.
And maybe they can bring back past Survivor players and Big Brother players. And maybe they can film it in Scotland in a castle. That would be a wild mole season. If
that would be
knew
crazy.
Who the mole was and they did it like that. Oh man, I am tired. Okay, so thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.